All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Aired Out Podcast, live from North Main Street in Barrie. It is an absolute pleasure to have you on board with us. Thanks for getting your day started. As I said yesterday, look what you have done, Vermont. Tuesday, which is today, through Friday, from 10 to 4 over on Vine Street, the Hope Coalition is going to be continuing their collection event for folks who have been affected by the storms down south. Dan Moland and his Hope Coalition on Vine Street in Berlin have been in touch with me over the weekend and told me that I think most of you, if you've been watching the page, that that first truck was filled quickly and donations were en route to Asheville. And I told Dan, I'm like, you're going to need a second truck here, buddy. And no. But a second truck was filled yesterday and is en route right now. And Dan is saying that they're bringing in a third truck. So are you surprised? I'm really not. Like I said, I told Dan, expect this. So that's what's going to happen. The donations are going to continue between 10 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon on Vine Street today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. This will be truck number three. Fly on the Wall Productions bringing you the Aired Out Podcast this morning live on Facebook and YouTube. We're streamed everywhere you get your podcasts and on the web at airedoutvt.com. Weather from NBC5, cloudy today and 44, cloudy tonight with rain changing over to snow through the overnight around 35 for the low. Still got to get the air conditioner out of that one room in my house. It's got to happen. Wednesday, 44 with rain. Wednesday night, 29 and frost. It's going to be chilly. That colder weather is really starting to move into the North Country. I felt it last night for really the first time. I was like, wow. Sunshine and 50s looks like on Thursday. We're going to rebound nicely. We're looking at Friday, Saturday, and Sunday temperatures in the 60s with plenty of sunshine. Another big storm in the tropics that is forming that we are watching that could or maybe not push this way, but we're going to be paying attention to it. It's 7 o'clock this morning. It was chilly. 36 in Bennington, 43 in Burlington, 39 in Morrisville. It is a chilly start to the day. Hey, tomorrow being Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday over on Summer Street, Washington County Mental Health puts this on for the first couple of Wednesdays of each month, and we invite you to get over there for the next one starting up tomorrow at 4:30. It goes until 7 o'clock upstairs at the Well Space Building, 23 Summer Street. You can get a massage. You can do some sound healing, some Reiki, acupuncture, acupressure, and that's just, I'm barely even scratching the surface. So learn more about it. Get over there. Everything is free. They ask you to just give a phone call if you know what time you would like to have a massage so that they can just plan that out better and book it better. 479-4055 is the phone number to call to set up an appointment for a massage, which who doesn't need a massage right now? Birthdays, Charles, Buffy on the list today, Aaron Johnson, Chelsea Welch, Kristen Emerson, Rachel Kelly, Chesney Butler, Deborah Davidson, Nate Durick, Brett Ricker, Evelyn Amaral on the birthday list today, Randy Swan, Deborah Lynn, Tammy Joska. Happy birthday to all of you. Vermont and regional headlines this morning from CAX and PTZ and Digger. I think probably one of the biggest stories in Vermont right now is that police are announcing one man is dead and a second critically injured in a shooting in Waterbury early yesterday morning. We have all of these stories up on up on the page if you want to read more about it, but it's not good. A little close to home for us here in Barrie. Charges being dropped for John Chrismore. The Grand Island State's Attorney has dismissed the assault charge against the Franklin County Sheriff and says the case is closed. A lot of you waking up this morning surprised by that, but if you would like to read more about this story, again, it's on Aired Out. Police believe, and this is the other big one this morning, that a Vermont man drowned when his kayak overturned while he was duck hunting locally. It happened Sunday at about 5:30 on Root Pond in Williamstown. Search crews recovered the body Monday morning, and it is believed to be that of Stephen Jones, 30 years old, from Brookfield. What a sad story. Troopers are being told by witnesses that they heard someone shouting from the pond and noticed the overturned kayak. Apparently, investigators are saying that Jones was dressed in warm clothes but was not wearing a life vest. The incident does not appear to be suspicious, and if anyone has any more information, they ask you to call the Berlin Police at 229-9191. So that's what we have that story up on Aired Out if you want to read more about it. Voters right here in the Granite City going to be deciding in November whether or not to upgrade the city's wastewater treatment facility. On Election Day, residents in Barrie are going to be voting on whether to approve this $7.6 million bond to fix a portion of the plant that removes solid materials from wastewater. Right now, our city of Barrie spends about $200,000 extra per year just to maintain this facility. So anyway, the city hopes to start the project next spring, but you can read more about that up on our page as well. Vermont Fish and Wildlife wants to expand the Venison for Vermonters program that works to process salvageable meat from roadkill that would otherwise go to waste. That's a big story this morning. Incoming Goddard College campus buyer is reaching out to the community for suggestions for future development plans. Seems like we've heard this one before, but I don't know. That's up on Aired Out this morning as well. Most taxpayers, and we published this morning, who filed for their 2023 returns have until today to file their returns. If you filed for an extension, this is your cutoff. So if you forgot about it, hopefully you'll be able to carve out some time today and get that done. Don't forget, the Vermont Coyotes press conference is tonight at the Barrie Auditorium. We will be there. We will be broadcasting it. We'll bring it to you. National news. The Baxter, the company responsible for IV solutions in hospitals for IV drips, that is also so critical for folks on dialysis. There's a lot going on here with this IV shortage situation. And these are life-saving medical supplies that are apparently nationwide in great shortage. Lauren Seiler has the details about how this is affecting us locally. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning, buddy. Good morning to the Aired Out family. This is a national story. Thank you for having me on this morning. The makers of the IV dialysis fluids, Baxter, and other products such as glucose and other solutions are in short supply in all United States hospitals and other facilities in accordance to the Centers for Disease Control and the Food and Drug Administration. At least 70% of the fluids IV medications for dialysis. This is due to Hurricane Helene and Milton. According to sources that I've spoken to at CBMC and UVM, as well as other staff at Dartmouth, they have reported and are experiencing shortages. I'll have more on this story throughout the month. Because this will be longer than expected as hospitals are working on emergency supplies as well to conserve supply situations. For more information, for those that are experiencing this and need emergency dialysis, you can call the Kidney Community Response website. You can speak to them at www.kcer.com. That is www.kcer.com. I'm Lauren Seiler at Ableton on Air Live, and I'll have more information throughout the month.
All right, buddy. We appreciate that very much. I've been hearing a lot of rumblings about this lately. Other national news, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has resumed going door-to-door in areas affected by Hurricane Helene, but just some outrageous news headlines over the weekend about apparently the rumor was that there was a militia that was down south and just pushing back against FEMA, and it turned out to be one man who did have some firearms on him. He was arrested for making threats against FEMA employees. Big story nationwide. 44-year-old guy had a rifle and a handgun. Acted alone though. So, but tensions running very high across all of the South right now. Walgreens, 500 stores closing in the coming fiscal year. Bankruptcy. That story is up on the page this morning. And also El Nino, expected to develop ahead of winter and affect temperatures and snow precipitation across the United States. It's going to be a mild winter. We're watching it. We're posting it. If you want to see, not sure if you believe all the stuff about El Nino and El Nino, but lots of people getting ready for the snow and getting the plows put on right now. Busy weekend. Stacking firewood, getting ready for the winter. Want to shift gears this morning and welcome a guest on that I don't think I have ever had on the airwaves before, and I am so excited to have her, Rebecca Duranlo. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
I am so happy to have you in here this morning. You're the executive director of Our House of Central Vermont. You have an online event coming up that the public is invited to. Before we get into that, though, just a little bit about Our House and what it is. Of course, you're 100 yards behind our studio right here on Summer Street.
Absolutely.
What is it that Our House does?
Sure. So Our House is the Children's Advocacy Center and Special Investigations Unit for Washington County. Most counties in Vermont have a Children's Advocacy Center and Special Investigations Unit. We actually got built into statute several years ago. And so we're all separate entities. We're all our own 501c3 nonprofits, but we are under an umbrella of the National Children's Alliance. So we have governing standards that kind of keep us all to the same set of ideals. And our facility essentially, when a report comes in to DCF or to law enforcement for sexual assault and abuse on a child, comes in to those facilities, those reports are then handed down to special teams who are trained to deal with trauma, sexual violence victims, families, and all the things that go along with it, because those crimes are just so multifaceted. And then instead of those children having to go to the Department for Children and Families, talk about what happened, then go to the police station, talk about what happened, et cetera, We help to facilitate the team to work together. They communicate with the family what's going to happen, and then the family meets with the entire team at our facility. And our facility is a safe, child-friendly facility. It's secure. We don't allow offenders in the building ever. And they come there, they meet with their investigator, they meet with law enforcement, they meet with our advocate who's on site there. They are interviewed. Our interview system is an audio and visual recording, so that should the case move forward, go to the state's attorney for prosecution, etc., a child doesn't have to retell what happened. Okay, that video is that prime piece of evidence. Should they later want to talk more, they're always welcome to come back, but our investigators are trained to interview one time.
Yeah.
So that is our facility in a nutshell and what we have going on over there.
Is it also, for lack of a better term, a safe house for folks to stay?
It is not.
Okay.
Oftentimes, I think people think that we might do that because our name is Our House, and Our is an acronym for One Unified Response. And we have been over there. I believe we were one of the first children advocacy centers in the state. Our 501c3 was established in '89, so we've been over there for quite some time. And we also work with adults. So adults as well who've experienced sexual violence, if they call it in and they also don't want to go to the police station, or maybe they have kids and they need, some additional assistance with that. But when people come to our house, they're there for as long as they need to for that interview process.
Yeah.
They can always call us back. We have an advocate there. We have an in-house therapist now as well. So we just try to have as much that we can have there for them through that process.
Karen and Tom Lozon, huge supporters.
Absolutely.
Of Our
Karen
House.
was a board member with us
a long
for
time.
She was a board member for 15 years.
Yeah.
And she just stepped down a few years ago. Judy Brassard is our current board president, and she worked over at Probation and Parole for quite some time. She just recently retired from there. And as we know, when you retire, you really don't ever retire, right? So we scooped her up, and she's our current board president.
You have an event that is coming up on the 24th that we have promoted here at Aired Out. It's an online event that basically invites anyone to be part of this Zoom discussion about protecting kids, our kids, against online predators and just stuff online that's just generally not healthy and could lead to something that's very unhealthy.
Absolutely.
And frankly, dangerous.
Yes.
This event, we ask for folks to email to say, hey, I want to be there. I want the link. I want to be part of this.
Yep. All they have to do is email me and let me know. It's only an hour, and there will be a Q&A. So if people have questions and it goes over an hour, but we find that parents are busy, obviously. So we have it scheduled on the 24th. As you mentioned, we have a lunchtime session and then an after-work session.
Okay.
And through
there's
this,
going to be two of them.
There'll be two that day. Yep. 12 to 1 and 5:30 to 6:30. And everybody just needs to email me. The Zoom links are different, so you would just need to email me. There's a QR code on there, or you could email me at ourhouseberrydirector. Let me know which session you want, and I will send the Zoom over to you. This Zoom is being done by one of our fellow facilities, and her name is Samantha Prince, and she does a lot of education into different groups. And through this, parents will not only learn kind of what the current online stuff is, because those apps and those games are always changing.
Amen. And I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
I am admittedly very much out of the loop with this kind of stuff. My excuse is not a great one, and but I think it's common for a lot of parents to basically say, I'm just too busy to keep up with what's coming down the pipe that kids can get tangled up in.
Yep.
I have a 9-year-old. Sherilyn and I are very different. She's much younger than me. She's much more dialed into this kind of stuff. I'm older, lived a different life that was just kind of more traditional. Didn't have, this was way before cell phones and YouTube and stuff like that. So there's a huge part of me that is quite naive, I think. And we have these discussions all the time, and we need to be two of the participants on this, because she knows how vicious this world can be online. I mean, there's creepy stuff that's crawling around all the time, and frankly, it can be right under your nose, and you don't see it or smell it as an adult.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know, at least part of my demographic, I think there's a lot of us that are very naive.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's alarming. I know.
Well, I think that, while the platforms are ever changing, the important part of it is just having the consistent conversation with your children, so that they feel comfortable and they can recognize the risks and they can recognize when it's happening. Unfortunately, a lot of the offenders of these types of crimes that we work with are known offenders. But when they are not known, they're a lot of times online. So it's definitely something that everybody should be aware of. I would not, say at all that parents should either determine to give away or keep, their kids' online tools, because that's just the way of life now.
Sure.
And I don't think you are naive at all to say that you don't know what's coming down the pike, just because they're always changing it. I mean, there's always something new. But the ever constant thing is that being able to know how to have those conversations, and sometimes those can be awkward conversations. Learning how to have a conversation with your child about a sexual predator is not really like prime dinner time conversation. None of us are dying to do that. So learning how to feel comfortable with having the discussion, how to bring it up so that your child feels comfortable bringing it up to you, because they're going to encounter it. It's just a matter of whether they have the tools to come to you and say, I have encountered it, or they're keeping it a secret, and then they're delving into it more for whatever reason that they're doing so. The fact that I don't think that they're going to be able to escape it in this day and age.
One of the things that we do is when Lily has a tablet or a cell phone that she's watching stuff, loves to watch the YouTube makeup videos and all that, or whatever. And that's just one of the things. Is when we're in the car and she's in the back seat, we have the phone paired up to the Bluetooth so we can hear the audio of what we can't see because she's in the back seat. But man, it's like, so many parents have different philosophies and different levels of whether or not, they're really worried about stuff like this. And your kid might have really tight restrictions at home, but when they're with their friends or they're at school or whatever, and their friends have a device
with no restrictions,
or significantly less restrictions, your kid's going to be exposed to stuff. So you're right. Keeping open communication is so important. Hey, does your friend have a tablet? Oh, what do they watch? It's
you have to
crazy.
be the king of the open-ended question. And when you hear something that terrifies you, gird your loins and just act like you haven't heard something that terrifies you, so that you can say, tell me more, and you can do a little bit of learning. Because, once they think they have stepped into the danger zone, they're going to backpedal. And really you want, just to have that,
Sure.
I'm not terrified at all
Yeah.
type
Right.
of face so that you can learn as much as you can.
We were just chatting a little while ago about one of the items here is what's popular and trending for kids right now. And like you said, there is so much that is changing with regard to that. It could be every week. It could be less than every week. There's new stuff coming out. This, what is it called? Robotox?
I think Roblox is one
Or
of the
Roblox.
current ones that kids are, gaming on. And there's always a different gaming system that people are using. And I would say anytime you can connect to your friends online
That's it.
and it opens up the channels to other people,
That's the
that is
portal.
when you've got the portal exactly to the portal to perpetrators, essentially. And we've all seen, a million years ago, they had the catfish show and that kind of stuff. And you've got perpetrators who are
Yeah.
pretending to be 9-year-old girls playing
Yes.
Roblox. And then they're getting to know them. They're making friends. It's nothing against the kids that it's happening to. I mean,
Sure.
they're making friends with these people. They're playing with them. They're there after school. They're looking forward to playing with, Susie, whoever they're playing with online. And then however many months later, Susie's morphed into something else, but now they have this relationship and this friendship with this person. And why would this person be asking them to do something that they shouldn't be doing? It's a very slippery and quick slope because, like we said, if you're not having those open communications with your children about the harms, and I'm not saying you need to sit your kid down and scare them about the world,
Sure.
but these are very real scenarios that happen a lot to us. I mean, we're here in, Barrie, Vermont, but once you are opening yourself up to the internet, you can be talking to anybody anywhere.
Sure. This event, again, is coming up on October 24th. You've got two different online events here, one from noon until 1, and then another one from 5:30 until 6:30. Again, it's called Digital Defenders. You're looking at right there on your screen. It's through Zoom, and it's to learn about internet risks and dangers and how to help our kids navigate this digital world and help us as adults navigate as well.
You should hopefully walk away feeling like, if you enter it being like, I cannot imagine having a conversation with my child about this.
Right.
I just want to take all of the tools away. But like
Yeah.
you said, they're going to get it at school. They're going to get it at their friend's house who they might not have the same type of parameters.
Sure.
So abstinence is not the answer, which I think we've learned about in many different ways.
Absolutely.
And so through this, you will be able to have at least a landing point to begin having that conversation. And then you'll have my information and you'll have Samantha's information so that if you need more or you already are experiencing something that you're like, oh, I don't even know where to begin, we can talk about it and we can do more with you.
Wasn't long ago at all. I was driving and listening to what Lily was watching. Again, loves to watch the YouTube stuff. Girls putting on makeup and so on and so forth. in the reels. And again, I was listening to this while I was driving. Stumbled across a video where this guy said something like, this guy was just walking down the beach and you'll never believe what happened next. Click here to see what happens next. If you don't click here, it must mean that you don't love your mom or dad. If you do love your mom or dad, click here to watch the rest of the video.
Mm-hmm.
I just so happened to be really paying attention, which we can drown out a lot of this.
Oh, yeah, when you're just hearing it.
You,
I mean,
you know,
those makeup videos are,
sure.
the noise alone can really just like draw you. It's easy to drown out.
I know. And I just so happened to be listening. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, I pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the phone right now. Why? What? You know, and then it happened again.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't, I don't know, maybe a week or two later. It was, if you believe in God, press next to see the rest of the video. If you don't believe in God, then don't press next. So, I mean, it's, I don't know, stuff like this really, really bugs me. And I know that we can set up some parameters on our own cell phones for YouTube or what have you. And I hope that part of the conversation on the 24th will be about maybe how to do that.
Mm-hmm. I hope so. Yeah, I mean, Sam is very knowledgeable on this topic. She's given this talk multiple times, so I'm hoping that she'll have the answers to the questions that parents have, and if she does not, she will absolutely find them, because that's just how she is, and myself as well. So, I mean, we always encourage people, if they have, if you definitely come, whether you have questions or not, but if you have questions, feel free to come with your questions, because that always just helps. I mean, we've all been on Zooms where nobody says anything. So, the more interactive it can be, the better. And we hope that parents walk away with some new tools, and tell their friends. And this is something that we can offer again, because like you said, the platforms are ever changing. We could probably offer this once a month and have something new.
I agree. Again, the email, if you would like to register for this free event on October 24th, is ourhouseberrydirector@gmail.com.
Yep, that's me.
And Sam, is Sam part of the Vermont Children's Alliance?
Yes.
You
She works out of the Windham County office, and she also works with the Vermont Children's Alliance. I'm not sure her title there, but she is a training specialist aficionado. She does just about everything that we need. If you need somebody to come to your school or you need to do that kind of thing, Sam is the woman for that. Absolutely.
Maybe we could sneak Sam in here sometime.
Yeah, Sam would be great to come here.
That would be wonderful. There's also a lot of stuff that's not necessarily this kind of predation, but also just uncomfortable stuff on that could be very easily found on social media with people that you do know, and other kids. And kids can be brutal to other kids, especially girls. Did I just say that? But bullying and just uncomfortable conversations that can be said, and that phone, that tablet, can be a really productive and healthy tool, and it can also be incredibly dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, I'm certainly thrilled that I didn't have one. I mean, I didn't have a cell phone until I was in college, and it was the little peanut type Nokia with the little antenna. So
different world.
They're totally different experience. And my daughter has never known a world without one. She wants to watch a show on my phone. She wants to watch a cartoon on YouTube Kids. You know, I mean, they even have it specifically for them now.
Yes.
So, I'm not going to be, I don't believe I could shield her from it. It would be a full-time job to shield her from it. So instead it will be the conversation of how do we use it?
Yeah.
And who, and not to be, super scary, and who is out there. They used to teach stranger danger. And while that's not really a thing anymore, as we know, it's usually somebody
Sure.
Online it is stranger danger.
Yeah, right.
And, finding the best way to have those conversations is important.
Just got a comment here. Happened to my daughter. She was playing an online app, and the person started asking her for pictures. So, scary stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes kids tell, and thankfully, this person knew, and sometimes they don't, and you don't find out I mean, we see plenty of cases that, you don't find out until either they finally tell, but
Yeah. Or
they
it's
don't
just
say
too
anything
late.
for so long because now they've done, now they've done something. Now they've shared a photo,
Sure.
and now the person has made them feel bad and made
Yeah.
them feel like it's their fault.
Sure.
And, it's just the immediate guilt that goes into it once they have given what they've asked for. And these poor kids are just they're just so tricked.
Sure.
So, 9 ways to Sunday on what has happened to them.
Yeah.
And it's really sad.
I had a rather candid private conversation with a police officer within the last year or so, who basically told me there's so much of this that's going on. They field so many calls from parents. Hey, my kid was just sent a picture from some guy out in Utah. There's so much of this.
Yeah.
That they, frankly, just don't have the time or the resources.
No, they do not have the time or the resources.
To
Law
track
enforcement
down-
are so heavily understaffed. It's frightening, and it's a lot of work. And these platforms are built in such ways that the information is gone. Like, by the time they are able to get a warrant on Snapchat to say that they want something, that takes a lot of time, and those platforms are built so that those things disappear.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just gone. And most people who report that something has happened to them, it's historical. People,
Yeah.
Kids are not reporting more often than not when something happens. It's historical reporting.
Yeah.
So at that point, a lot of times the digital footprint is gone unless they have, they have it, they've kept it. But a lot
Yeah.
of times they are deleting it, and they're telling them to delete it. Like, send
Sure.
this to me and then delete it.
Yeah. Even more reason why, and one of the points in this is that we keep an open line of communication with our kids that's appropriate for their age, and is very direct and honest. Kids are growing up at a rate that's much different from when I grew up. They're being exposed to stuff that I just wouldn't even have a concept of when I was 9 or 10 years old.
Yeah.
Couldn't even begin to imagine any of this. But that's why it's especially hard for me, being an older dad, to have these conversations. But man, it's like it's necessary. And frankly, if you're not being vigilant as a parent, you're not being responsible.
To some degree. I mean, you really do. It's not something you want to be working on the back end, I would say.
Yeah, it's too late.
It's too late. Yep. And kids are smart. They say that you should be having the conversation with your kid about, sex and everything by the time they're 8. And nobody wants to do that. They want to say, it's my little kid. I don't want to. They don't know. But I'll tell them when they ask me.
Yeah.
But if they're asking you, it's too late. They already know.
late,
They
yeah.
already heard something on the bus.
Sure.
Like, their friends are going to tell them that
yeah.
you need to be the one to be giving them that information. And it might be awkward for you, but it's not for them because they don't have the context.
Sure.
So they're not, we are feeling really weird about it because we have all of these preconceived notions.
Yep.
But when they're young like that, they don't. They're just going to have an open mind, and they're going to be learning that information from you.
Yeah.
If they're coming to you, they already know.
And what better person for them to learn it from than their mom or dad?
Yep. Because then that open communication will continue. Versus if they're embarrassed about it, if they know about it and they're embarrassed and you've waited, who's going to have an open conversation with their teenager who's hit puberty about any
Sure.
of those things?
Sure.
Nobody.
I know.
Then they're weirded out and you're weirded out.
Yes, of course. Of course. Wow. I got to just say, big kudos to you and your staff
Thank you.
over there at Our House of Central Vermont. I can't imagine a typical day, a typical week for what you all do over there. And it is it's imperative that we have you guys supported well from our community so that you stay put
Yeah.
And
Yeah. We have no interest in going anywhere,
Yeah,
but
good.
it's definitely, some weeks are harder than others. And we have a great team. We work, very closely with DCF. We work very closely with all of the law enforcement agencies within Washington County, and advocacy agencies and probation and parole and the state's attorneys, and therapists and the SANE nurses up at CVMC. We all, meet monthly in order to make sure that anything that's come in, everybody is kind of aware of, so
Yeah.
that nothing really is missing.
I want to show this graphic one more time here on our page. Digital Defenders, how adults can help kids navigate online risks. This is going to be October 24th. It's from noon to 1, or it's from 5:30 till 6:30 by Zoom. Internet risks and dangers and what you can do to help kids navigate the digital world. It's all right there, and it's free.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would like to be part of this Zoom discussion, all you have to do is register by sending an email to ourhouseberrydirector@gmail.com. And I'll put that in the comments here as well, so that you all have that. But it's ourhouseberrydirector@gmail.com. I'm anxious to hear more about what's popular right now. As you said, that's changing all the time. But just ways that we can be, again, more vigilant as parents and pay more attention to this stuff and get dialed into it, because we have to be.
Yep. And it's hard. Nobody could say that parents aren't busy. So, I think when you become comfortable having these conversations, it just becomes part of your day, and it's part of asking, just like how was school and everything else. It's just part of the conversation, and then you have that built-in open communication around this topic, just as you have it around what your homework is.
Yeah. It's just making sure your kid's got the seatbelt on when you get in the car.
Yep.
It's just not enough anymore. It's just not enough.
No, unfortunately.
I think this is fantastic that you guys are doing this. I've got the email up there right in the comments. Again, ourhouseberrydirector@gmail.com. Is that going to go right to you, Rebecca?
Yep,
All right.
That's my personal email, so it'll come right to me.
Rebecca Duranlo, who's the executive director of Our House, offering this. I want to thank you for reaching out to me and saying, hey, you guys got to blast this. We got to put this out there. We need to get as many people as possible registered for this. I would like, is it going to be, do you know if it's going to be recorded at all?
I don't know, but probably. I would say Sam will probably ask everybody in the Zoom if everybody's okay with it.
Okay.
But I would think that it would be recorded,
and
so that we can share it later.
yeah, I was going to say possibly for folks that, for whatever reason, just aren't able to make it.
Yep.
Or would just like to watch.
Just would like to watch. Yeah, and people are welcome to. Some people like to be engaged on Zoom, and some people do not. People are welcome to get in there, turn their camera off, cook dinner. One of them's during lunchtime. Turn your camera off. Eat your lunch at your desk. Do what you need to do.
Sure.
And
right.
if you want to be part of the discussion, do that. And if you don't, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think that's great that's presented in that way.
Perfect.
Because some people just want to.
Yeah. Sometimes you just don't want to, or you're in your car. That's totally
They just
fine.
want to listen.
Yep.
They just want to listen.
Yep. I just want people to get the information.
Yeah.
That is the only thing that is important to me out of this whole scenario. I don't care if it's all blank screens.
Right.
Sam has the information. She knows how to talk to people about it, and if people have questions, they can type it in. We never have to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wonderful that you guys are doing this. We're going to promote anytime you do it. We're going to promote it.
Perfect. I hope that it's heavily utilized, and then people discuss it, and we'll do more of it.
Yeah.
If it's something that the community wants, we are a community resource.
Sure.
And it's important to us that people in the community recognize who we are and utilize our services for other things. And this is one of the other things we're going to try to start offering for people.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in here.
Thank you for having
today.
me. I appreciate it.
Come back anytime. Bills got I don't know if you were watching football last night. Nice 23-20 win with a field goal over the Jets. Nice Hail Mary from Rodgers. 61.4 yards in the air. Joe Namath even tweeted about it. Was so excited. The end of Week 6 last night. Major League Baseball, Yankees took Game 1 last night. 5-2 win over Cleveland. They're going to be back at it tonight for Game 2 at Yankee Stadium. The Mets beat the Dodgers yesterday 7-3. I don't know if you saw that game with the whole incident in the dugout with a snake that was in the dugout in the top of the fifth. Just weird. But the series is even at 1 each now. Game 3 in New York tomorrow. On the ice last night, Islanders, Rangers, and Senators all got the win. Nice game with the Senators going into overtime for that one last night. NASCAR is going to be heading to Vegas, I believe, on Sunday. Lots going on in our community calendar. We're going to post everything up that we've got for you so that you are up to speed on all of the happenings of what's going on in and around central Vermont here over the next couple of weeks. But it is going to be a very busy rest of our month here in October. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Thanks to our presenting sponsors, our supporting sponsors. Here's the list right here. We appreciate your eyes and ears. Thanks so much for being part of Aired Out this morning. We'll catch you again tomorrow morning right here on Aired Out.